here we go. Hey, welcome back. We're going to do episode 11 now. Hitting record. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Independent Artist. It's episode 11. I know it's been a while. You haven't heard from me in a couple of months. Last episode I did was in May. And the reason is because many of you know I've been working on a new one-man show called Last Sicilian. That's my old one-man show. I've been working on Buddy, One Last Night. And that's been a blast. I did 6 shows in 5 days back a couple weeks ago. And it was amazing to actually get up there and finally do this show because I planned it for many years. I started writing it before the pandemic and kind of had to throw it aside for a couple of years because of the pandemic. And it's just a dream come true to finally perform it and get such a great reaction from people and the response from people that came to see the show. And I'm still going to do the show and continuing, not like a week straight like I did the opening week, but I'll be doing one-night onlys here and there. And my next one is, if it's not July 23rd yet, it's coming up July 23rd of 2022. I'll be at the Pub on Park in Cranston, Rhode Island, Park Ave. Go to my social media, and then you'll see it anywhere. I got links everywhere for tickets. Or contact me, and I'll let you know. So, I mean, that wasn't my first one-man thing I ever did. Many of you know I did The Last Sicilian, which I'll get into more in the future episodes. And I will get into more of my show Buddy, One Last Night as well. But today I'd like to talk to you about, still in my limo days, I meet a couple of very famous people. And it was an unbelievable time. It was unbelievable to meet them. And the names were Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman. Yes. See, they were in town because their 2 daughters were both going to Brown University. And they hired a limo service. I had the Suburban to help pick them up and pick up boxes at the hotel they were staying at. So it was like the end of summer of 2004. And I drive down to the hotel, and I'm waiting outside. I let the doorman know who I am, what company I'm from, and who I'm picking up. And they say, okay, we'll let them know. And I just waited there, and all of a sudden, maybe about 10 minutes or less, I see Danny DeVito walking out, and Rhea Perlman, and their kids behind them, and then a bunch of guys working, valet guys at the hotel with boxes. So I open the back of the Suburban. And they load up these boxes. It was move-in weekend at Brown University. That's what it was. And so there I am. Got all the boxes in. Say hello, how you doing? I'm like Albanese. He's like, hi, I'm Danny DeVito. She's like, hi, I'm Rhea. Nice to meet you. They were very, very friendly. And we drive up to the dorms, up to Brown University. And it was very, very surreal. There I am with the DeVitos moving boxes into a dorm. And they were very nice. They were super nice. We started joking around. And after even like a half hour, you felt like you knew him. I knew him my whole life. Watching him on Taxi, when he first really made it big iconic character, Louis De Palma, probably one of the greatest characters in television history is Louis De Palma. And I think in the next episode too, I want to get into some recent shows I've been watching. I may take a break from my history here as I'm going on each episode, because I really want to talk about some shows that I've been watching. I think that are really good and have great characters. And some older actors who have finally, I mean, they're great actors their whole career, but they actually their best work is now in their later years. But I think I'm going to get into that. Hopefully I remember that for episode 12. But yeah, Louis De Palma, what a character. And there I am. And one of the parents looked like Larry David. It wasn't Larry David, but he looked like Larry David. So I said to Danny DeVito, I said, hey, look at that guy over there, Danny. He looks like Larry David. And DeVito looks at him and goes, yeah, he does. And then I look at Danny DeVito and go, and you look like Danny DeVito. And he looks at me and goes, yeah, and you look like this guy Nick I used to know. And so that's how it was. It was just really, really funny, just hanging out and, joking around with him. And so we get there, all that in. He takes my cell number down by the end of after a few hours being with him, in case he needed me, because he was going off to do some shopping himself or look for different things that his daughter may need for the dorm. And Real Perlman needed a ride to the Province Place Mall, so I took her down to the mall, just me and her. And we get there, we go to the garage, and she wants me to come in with her. So there I am walking around. I think we went to Bed Bath & Beyond. It was one of the stores she wanted to go to. And you could see people looking at her going, that looks like Real Perlman. Like you can, and I'm there with her, and she's small. I'm a big guy compared to her, and they probably thought I was a bodyguard or something, walking around with her. And it was just funny seeing people noticing her, but she was very polite, very nice to people, saying hello, very nice people. And then she gets what she has to get and all that stuff, and I think it's over that one day. I'm like, oh, that was amazing. I got to meet them, and then he says he's going to need services tomorrow. I said, well, he needs a van by tomorrow, and because he's got to get furniture. And I'm thinking, oh, this is the moving weekend for the colleges. It's very hard to rent a van, and it was true. My the boss at the time could not find one company that had a van available, and there I swing in to save the day. And I told Danny DeVito, you got to call the company. If you want me again, you have to call them and request me. I just can't assign the job to myself. It wasn't my company. And he said, okay, I'll do that. So I'm at home that night, and I get a call from my dispatcher. It says, hey, listen, you got DeVito again tomorrow, and we need a van. And I got them a van. I knew a guy that had a trucking company, but I knew he had one white van that they use for parts and stuff. He had to clean it out. And I said, charge the limo company anything you want, man, because they're desperate. They need this van. So I don't know what he charged them. So I'm sure he charged them a good price to rent the van. And because the next day he had to pick up furniture for his daughter, for the other daughter who was living off campus in an apartment, and at Pier 1, and he said he needs another guy to help me with furniture. So my boss said, pick one guy to come with you, anybody. So I picked one guy to come with me, Val Novak, immigrant from Ukraine. Speaking of Ukraine, right? He was the nicest guy. He was hilarious. And I said, if I can have anybody hang out with me for the day, it would be Val Novak. So Val and we go to Pier 1 up in Seekonk. I don't even know if it's still there at the time. I know it's there. I mean, it was there at the time. I don't know if it's still there now. And we pick up the furniture and we bring it to this address. It was up on the east side near Brown. It was an off-campus apartment. And it was funny because that same apartment I delivered that furniture to. Years later, I ended up being the property manager there, and not knowing I was going to be the property manager there. So I thought that was kind of funny. And we get there, and Real Perlman is there with the other daughter. And we bring up the furniture. It was third floor, tiny staircases. It was one of those old buildings. It was tough. We were sweating to death bringing this furniture up. And I knew I was going to see them again, so I had these videotapes. Back in the day, those videotapes of a bunch of monologues that I wrote. And I played different characters, and I taped these monologues, and I spliced them all together. and I regret it so bad now because they were god awful, awful monologues, awful acting job probably, and but I had something I wanted to give Rhea, and I told her I did these monologues, and she was impressed that she said, "Oh, you wrote them?" I said, "Yeah, I write. It's nothing like I write now, believe me." Um, and she said, "Oh, take a look at them, And I said, "Well, I'm gonna be moving to California again. I was planning to move to California again in 05. This was 04. And she's, "Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah," and yeah, look us up. Yeah, right, look us up. So and then I would get calls every once in a while from Danny DeVito, and he'd be like, "Hey, Nick, you know where I can find a hardware store?" That's what I was good for. Help them find things in Providence. But and then I managed to get to California back in '05, a year later after that, and the number was no longer in service. So no, so much for look us up. But that's how it is. It's just funny for me now because this is just the way it is. It's just the way it is. You can't get upset over these kind of things. But that was my Danny DeVito experience. Yeah, it was a great 2 days hanging out with him, and I even got to tell Danny DeVito that you in Real Problem. I said, I just want to let you guys know that this is a honor meeting you. I watched you guys since I was a little kid. You as Louis De Palma in Taxi, me and my father watched that every week, and watching you on Cheers as Carla. Oh man, it just great shows, classic characters, and it was a great honor to meet you both. And I really appreciate them being so nice, just being really nice people. So, yeah. So you never know, man. You think you're a limo driver in some small little city, but you never know who you're gonna meet. And like I said in past episodes, I talk about Emeril Lagasse, and did I tell you my Kenny Rogers story yet? I mean, I will get into that. I met Kenny Rogers as well, but yeah, I'll get into that in future episodes. And then just meeting different people on movie sets. It's really cool, and especially when they're really like down to earth and just regular people and act human. You know what I mean? It makes it so much nicer. But yeah, I'm glad to be back after a break, a 2 month break, and now I'm back doing the podcast. I will try to keep up with it each week. I always say I'm going to record episodes ahead of time for in case of emergencies because I always have things pop up here and there. I will eventually do that probably. But we'll see you next time on Independent Artist, the Nick Albanese podcast. So take care, everybody. Have a good one. God bless. Ciao. Bye.